Ba-da-da-da. I cannot get enough of that. Thank you, Joel Felsenstein, Rockstar X, for that amazing intro outro video. We get so many people that go, Chason. They give me credit for it. I'm like, no, I did not do that. I did not do that. That's not me. Did you see the ones I did in the past? I'm like, they pale in comparison. But I am here today with my buddy Sam Morgan, Illuminate Coaching and Consulting. I love his logo because I'm all about the light bulbs. I'm all about turning on that space and what that means to me and what he does. It's incredible. And today we're gonna the point of Time to Change podcast today is Experiment 107, Coaching for Coaches. So Sam, thank you for being here today. Big round of applause. Here we go.
Oh, wow. You brought the studio audience in?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
See, yep.
Yeah. All right. That's great.
And I learned how to fade it in and fade it out. You like that? I like it's just for you.
You got skills to pay the bills. Appreciate that.
So, what about these experiments that you're running on LinkedIn? I've actually been part of some of your segments. I wish that I could come to more of them because they're absolutely fantastic. But let's talk about the experiments and what you're trying to accomplish and what you do with Illuminate Coaching and Consulting.
Yeah, dude, these are really, really super fun. In fact, I just came off one like a half an hour ago. So my energy, I'm hyped. And what's been so much fun about this is last year, I ended the year doing all these like experiments. I was just in this like state of, okay, I started a community for lean coaches. Okay, that's great. Awesome. I started this newsletter that I had been like talking about doing, but hey, as a lean person, we know it's not about just talking and theory. It's about practice. So Sam, get your butt out there and actually do it. So I finally did it after a few months, put that out there. I did a 4-day challenge where I offered people like an hour every day where you come and use this framework that we talk about in lean, the improvement kata. It's all about experimenting, getting clear on where you're headed to, where you're at now, short goals, and then experiment. So I did a whole 4-day challenge, offered that, but that wasn't enough for me. I was like, I've got one more. I'm like, I've been dreaming and picturing of doing coaching ever since I got into this practice of the improvement kata. It's all about coaching on a daily basis. I've taken and kind of tweaked it a little bit. But I thought, man, 2-3 years ago, I was so jazzed for that. Like, I'm like, what would that be like? Because, Chason, I've shared with you, I've done radio broadcasting. I love telling stories. I've done audio editing. So storytelling, working on video and audio, like that's my jam. I love that. But I was like, man, 5 days, that seems like a lot. I could do 2. And I was ready. I'm in the place where I feel confident. Like, let's give this a try. Right. That's the spirit of lean, is experimenting, trying things, not knowing what the outcome's going to be and being okay with it. And that translates from it's work and personal. And it becomes such a thing that I was like living out. Like I was feeling more comfortable with just trying. Right. Like, and seeing what happens. Right. We don't know. We have a prediction. We make a hypothesis. Every step we take is a hypothesis that the ground is still going to be there when we put our foot down. Right.
Yes.
And it's not any different with doing this. So I was like, man, my people are these lean coaches. Why don't I just bring them on and see if I can help them? It seems to me that like people are giving me feedback that the space that I provide is helpful for them. Whether sometimes I believe that or not is a whole other issue. But I'm like, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. And I tell you what, the crazy thing about it is the first experiment, because of course things don't go the way you expect. I didn't have anybody. Like I'd planned at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to reach out to a few folks who wants to hop in, of course, because you have to be vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. Hey, this is a problem I'm having. This is a goal I want to get to. Nobody likes to admit they need that. I'm like me. I am the first in line on that. I hate showing my vulnerabilities. So like asking somebody else to do it, I totally get it. The cool thing was it's 6:30 on that Tuesday morning. And I'm like 6:15. I'm like, nobody's here. I text my friend Andres and I'm like, hey, Andres, you have time this morning? He's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. We get in, we're right here. Like we are like on the streaming service beforehand. His audio isn't working because of course, right? Why would it be working on the first episode of the whole thing? It wouldn't, would it? So I'm like, all right, dude, we're going live here. And that was like 7 minutes before we get on. I turn the stream on and I see him, like he has left. Now he's coming back on. I'm like, okay, fingers crossed, please. Hey, Andres, how's it going? Oh, awesome, Sam. And that was so cool, dude. And that was the start, right? Of him hopping on there. He shared where he was going, his problems. And it's been so cool to like just see, like, not everything has worked out on those sessions, right? I have those every Tuesday. I do those sessions where I bring on a lean coach who's got something that's on their mind. And that's just where we start from. And then
I love it.
Thursdays we talk about, various topics that lean folks we don't like to talk about, we don't like to like necessarily lean into, or we don't feel confident in. Sales and marketing is what we lean into. Those are challenges for me too. So we just come in, I offer some thoughts, and we share and we grow and we learn together. So that's the experiment, and it's still in process. We're about 3 months in, and I'm still learning as I go, seeing what resonates for people, what people find valuable, what they don't, and then adjusting, because it's about helping the people.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, man, it's been a fun experiment, and I have no clue where it's going to go, but I'm excited to see where it goes from here and how it helps folks. And of course, for me being in business, is there opportunity to support folks that either attend or I help support as people in the future that I would support as clients, right?
Well, you know what? This is an interesting thing. So let's dial down for someone who might catch this podcast on our YouTube channel and say, all right, I love his energy, but I don't know if I fit into this. So let's start out from the beginning. What's a lean? What's a person who's a lean coach, and what does that mean?
Yeah, thank you for asking that, actually, because I appreciate it, because I share that, and I think sometimes we can take it for granted, like, oh, people kind of know that, and I should know better to dial it down and bring it back for people who aren't necessarily in it. For me, a lean person is someone who is interested in improving work, right, making things better at work, in a or at home, right? It's just it's a mindset, it's a frame of mind. So you're looking to always improve something, and also you're all about respect for people. Those are those two elements that typically are involved, right? And you're looking out to make life better for people by improving the process. And so that's the heart of people. A lot of those folks are typically in like operational roles. You might find folks in like change management, COOs, right? They might be analysts. I've helped all sorts of folks. I've plant managers. They're interested in making the processes better and things operating more efficiently. So those are the kind of people, but it's really helping them with when they feel stuck and they're wanting to do something more, especially those folks that are feeling like I don't want to be in the 9 to 5. This corporate bullshit I'm done with it. I want to do my own thing, but I don't know where to start and I feel stuck. I don't feel the confidence. That's where I love to come in and have conversations with folks and see how we can support them, because I've been there. That's been my path, and I've been on the struggle bus, start to stop. So I know what it's like to be there, and I've learned a few things, and I want to just help those kind of folks really see what they have to offer. My wife offered this to me the other day, and it's just something that's so beautiful. I was having a struggle bus day, and we were as we do quite often, we were sitting in bed just processing, and I was just talking about the day, and she's like, babe, you know what my hope for you is on your journey is for me just to be able to hold up a mirror so that you can see your own greatness. And I was like, damn, dude, like,
man,
if we as a coach, right, if I can do that as a coach, right, like, job done, mic drop, right?
How fantastic is that?
That's what we want, right? And so for me, that's what I want to do for folks is, right, I've got processes and frameworks and things to help folks with that, but ultimately that's what I want people to see, is ultimately to see their own greatness inside themselves through the whole process.
Man, that I know already when I go to make the mini clip for when we are going to put this out live. That's it. That is the gold nugget out of this conversation. Yeah, it is so fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I get to have those conversations on a daily basis. So I feel very, very, very thankful to have, like, we as coaches and practitioners, we need help. We need help. And that's what I hear from folks very often is folks that are lean coaches, like they're in there, they're problem solving, they're helping people, right? But where are they getting their help? And I've been reading this book by Marcus Aurelius. I don't know if you're familiar with Marcus Aurelius
Yeah.
and Meditations, but this quote has been like hitting home for me recently. He says, "Don't be ashamed to need help. Like a soldier storming a wall, you have a mission to accomplish. And if you've been wounded and you need a comrade to pull you up, so what?" And I just think, man, if you need a comrade to pull you up, that's me. I'm here for you. So that's what lean people are all about, right? You're helping other people up. Let me be there to help pull you up in the struggle. Man, so
That's
this is beautiful
fantastic.
work. I just love this, and I love having conversations about this. It's man, it's my joy. It's my purpose, right?
Yeah, no, I love that. That's how you hone in too. With that's the shining the light part. That's that's revealing, shining your light and revealing someone else's light. So that's fantastic. I want to dial down while we have some time left. I want to dial down on two segments. So one segment is how you are able, and you talked about this, how you're able to help corporations and leaders within companies, and then how you're able to shine that light and get them to see their own purpose and their own light within their own business themselves as a coach or a consultant or whatever they're doing. So how do you start the process differently from one to the other, or do you?
Yeah, I think, well, we're all humans, right? And that's one thing that I've learned is like working with like entrepreneurs and then working with COOs and founders, right? Like when I ask them at the end of our, conversations, one of my questions I finish with is, "What did you find most valuable today in our conversation?" I'm like hearing it continually. Like the drumbeat is having a place to process, right? People want to be seen and heard and valued. And whether you're a COO or you're a frontline worker, like working on the press, on the line, like we all have that same need. And so
Yep.
that's a part of it, right? Creating space for them to do that. But when they're stuck, where we start is either way, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're like a senior director or you're a COO or you're an owner, we start by getting clear on where you're headed to, right? You got to be clear. You can't move forward if you don't know where you're going to go. So we help get like dialed in on that, the how, the what, the why, how will you know? Like we get that clear. Then, okay, where are you at honestly, right? It's honesty before performance. We want to be honest about where you're at right now in relation to where you're going, because if you're going on a trip somewhere, if you don't know, you can know where you're headed to, but if you aren't honest about where you're going, you can put in the destination however many times you want into Google Maps. It ain't going to get you there. We got to know it. And then we got to break it down, because also if you're on a trip, you're moving along, there's going to be traffic. The kids are going to use the restroom. You got to get some food, right? Unexpected things happen. So we got to set something 1 to 2 weeks out just to get, like here's where we want to be. And then you can adjust. Like there's going to be obstacles that come up along the way. So then we surface those challenges between here and there. And we say, okay, what are those things that are getting in our way? And then, okay, what are you going to try today or this week? However, we're kind of working together, whatever that frame is, to move through that obstacle, right? And it's an experiment. We don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to try something, Chason. We're going to try something. And that's the hurdle for them, is they're like, I don't know where to start. Well, let's just start somewhere. Let's try
Yeah.
something. What do you expect? And then come back afterwards. What actually happened with what you were trying? And then what did you learn from that? Because if you aren't going to make it forward if you don't reflect back what you learned and then come back and try it again. Okay, I learned that. Now what am I going to do? Now what's in my way? And that's how, whether you're an owner or you're someone that's in a business and you want to move forward and do your own thing, that's where we start. And the beauty of that, Chason, is it all comes back around to, in the end, to where we kind of were just a couple minutes ago. As you do that, you grow in your confidence, right? You believe that you can make it through, and you start seeing that you have that greatness inside yourself. It's a beautiful process, right? We have the framework, we have the tools, we have the process. We have to go out and practice so that we can build up that confidence and move forward and get out of that place we don't want to be anymore to the place we always have wanted to be. And you can do it. It's possible. But that's what I'm leaning into, is the Sam, right? That's got the neon hat and all of this, right? Like, people in my profession, they don't show up in that way. But that's me. This is what I feel comfortable in. This is how I show up in my full self. And I'm able to really impact people and make a difference, right? And if I'm like feeling constrained, I'm not going to be able to make that impact. And that's what I hope I can encourage people to do as they gain that confidence. They're going to be, I bring value to the world just as I am, right? And as we go through this process and I work with you in that, that's what you're gonna find. It's not gonna be overnight, right? Like, don't get me wrong, like, oh yeah. It's gonna be over time, consistently practicing and doing this. I love being in space with you. The energy never stops, dude. I feel like
this is it.
Like that lightning thing that came up is just gonna explode the building with all the energy. It's just beautiful. So thank you so much for
Oh
offering
man,
this
thanks for
space to
being
share.
on here. Thank you for being on Time to Change, people.